Hi, leaders. How are you? I hope you're having a great day. Today, we're going to talk about the customer experience, both as the customer and as the person or the company servicing the customer, and what that looks like, and where it matters to really dig in with the details, and when it's fine to cognitively offload and have your bot do it for you. So, Leanne, Prime Day was a few weeks ago,
Mhm.
and I did some cognitive offloading and
Yeah, what'd you
asked,
buy?
my husband and I were buying our son's, so he's in seventh grade and he needs a computer. And they gave us the requirements, like the minimum RAM and storage. And so then I reached out to Claude because I didn't want to think about it. I was like, hey,
Mhm.
Claude, this is the school my kid is going to. This is, he has a tendency to drop things, lose things,
Here's the
He's
context, right?
here's
It's
the
not just a
context.
computer, here's the context, yep.
Yes. Which one should I buy? I don't want to spend over X amount of dollars.
Uh-huh.
And, Claude was just delighted to help me and
Yeah.
came back with a few choices. And then we made a decision and boom, purchased off my plate. Now, I felt very, I felt very happy to not, to be honest, to offload that decision. And it would have taken me a few hours of back and forth and looking at different websites. And so this is, in my view, a nice way to use artificial intelligence to make shopping easier, to make decisions go faster, and just to feel, frankly, not too invested in the decision making process and just offload. And I was very clear on, like, Lance, I don't want to make this decision. And he's like, well, ask Claude. And then there we went on our merry little way and purchased and send.
And you're not the only ones. I mean, did you see the statistics
Yes.
about Prime Day, right? Let me just share that with everybody. It was like on Prime Day in June 2026, shoppers referred by AI assistants converted far better than any other channel for the first time. About 40% more likely to buy from those versus like search engine, just Googling it, email or social, right? So a year earlier, that same traffic was the worst converting channel, right? And
Mm.
so you can see why that contextual understanding of your life circumstances and then be able to just be done with the computer or something transactional. Like, I need a new blender. My blender broke
Mm.
down. I really don't care what kind of blender I have. It
Yeah.
needs to be
Blender,
good,
toaster.
but
Yeah.
toaster, whatever. I make a certain, but you can be a little bit more targeted in your dialogue and then boom, it's off your to-do list, right? That
Yeah.
may be why a lot of others felt the same way and why that was one of the best converting channels for
Oh, I'm
purchases.
certain of it. And
Mm,
that is this, I written an article a while back, the seduction of ease, right?
yes.
It's this, oh, it felt great. I actually was like, thank you, Claude. I don't
Yeah.
want to make the decision.
One
And
more
we
decision.
know, yeah, one more decision. The decisions are piling up because we can. We can do
Mm-hmm.
more. We have more information.
Mm-hmm.
We have information at our fingertips, and therefore we're also more tired, more mentally fatigued from
Yeah.
making said decisions. So,
Yeah.
when does it matter? When should we say, I need to be aware of my desire for the seduction of ease and pay attention to the surround sound experience for our customers? Or,
Yeah.
we have a service business and we're
Mm-hmm.
relying on AI. Have you ever yelled at a bot or a phone tree and just said, associate, associate, I just want an associate?
Yes. Or
You
zero,
know,
zero, zero, zero,
yes. And then it like goes into nowheresville and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
I just want a human.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah. And I think so we're looking at two different things that can be simultaneously true as we serve our customers as we're seeking to acquire new customers, reduce the points of friction that our customers have. On
Mm.
one side, there is this, I mean, what you described, Gretchen, was helpful in the chatbot's recommendations. It was still transactional. It wasn't like there was
Yeah.
this depth of meaningful relationship and you were transformed by the
Right.
interaction,
It
right? Like,
wasn't
okay.
trans.
And there's a place for that, and that's cool. And then on the other hand, you and I create immersive experiences. Now, of course, we're
Mm.
more service business oriented. You've done other presentations at large conferences as well, where you want to create a full immersive experience where people are fully present and psychologically invested in this conversation and this meaning making together. I do that at executive offsites. We do that in the deeply human leading workshops and in the labs. You don't have to be service business oriented to create that immersive experience. Of course, CPG, consumer products, knows that, or retail knows that really, really well. You don't have to have something as elaborate as Disneyland or the Harry Potter experience, but you can
No, I mean,
create.
even think of Cheetos. Okay, so the idea that Cheetos leave, orange on your fingertips
Mm-hmm,
is an immersive experience. And that is part of eating the Cheeto, right? Is that
mm-hmm.
you've got this, and then you're not me, but you might be licking you might be licking your fingers after, okay, maybe I've licked my fingers after a Cheeto or two, but the whole point is like, are you, where am I? Who am I with? What can I do? What's happening? Am I experiencing something that's real, that's a
Is there any
felt?
progress
Is there any
towards what
progress?
I'm experiencing? Yeah,
Yeah. Am I learning something? Am I gaining
mm,
something? Is there pleasure to be
right.
had? Is there knowledge to be gained? This is the human experience that we
Yeah.
don't want to erode because we've become uber efficient.
So that's
And
again
yes,
the thing to balance, right? Intentionally. So it's just another side of being intentional about our use of AI because we can get so excited by, oh my God, 40% better conversion out of a chatbot. Bam, let's go, fully now and tip the scales in this direction. What might we then lose if we don't think about that human experience? All those questions you just posed, Gretchen, are also meaningful. And so every scorecard can again look green because we're now allocating towards more transactional scale, efficiency, optimization. But it's so deterministic that we don't s- pause and say, what else do we want to protect on the
right.
human lived experience? What is it that could quietly drain away that actually is the source of our brand loyalty, our trust, the excitement that people have? Maybe people
Yes.
want to have that orange stuff on their fingers, right?
Well,
Like, what is it?
apparently they do. There was some experimenting in the past, so CPG companies
Yeah,
create flavor profiles,
correct.
and they create what's called the bliss point. Now,
Hmm.
the bliss point is that taste, texture, smell, touch, and physical experience of the entire experience of the food itself.
Yeah.
So when they removed the coloring, the
Mm,
bliss point actually
dropped.
dropped.
Hmm.
So the annoying part of it was also a feature and was part of something that people enjoyed and missed. And it was that full experience of eating a Cheeto or, a Dorito, Cool Ranch Dorito, whatever it is that stays on your fingers. And this is to point out that humans love other humans, love experiences that are fully human, and that we do want to retain those special and sometimes maybe even seen as annoying, slightly quirky
Yeah.
things that those experiences offer us, which is, still having joy and awe and being emotionally connected to an experience.
Connected. Yeah.
If we live only on the efficiencies, and we factor that in and we become very robotic in a way, we will lose so much joy. And sometimes the joy is your orange fingers from the
And
Cheetos.
it's exactly. It can look very, very different and across cultures. And
Yes.
it's not just the joy. When we think about as leaders, we're really, even if your role is not in marketing, your role is not necessarily in the flavor profiles or in the sales per se, how might you make sure that in your part of the business, every scorecard is not just leaning towards the optimization efficiency, but it's also measuring what may not be? It's like the question underneath the question, right? So if everything starts turning green towards using AI in an optimal way to drive scale and efficiency? Cool. And is there something as well that we should add to that dashboard to make sure we're not losing something else that's part of that human experience? And that article, there's an article that I saw over the weekend. We'll put the link below as well. In the most recent July-August Harvard Business Review edition that was looking at why the best immersive experiences succeed. And so the authors are really looking at that immersive experience that we're talking about is not just like creating some sort of razzle dazzle spectacle or amazing technology. Recent 4th of July, kind of incredible fireworks and drones kind of spectacles were amazing, right? But then also you want to create a sense of human connection and
Well,
meaning. And
there's
so,
the music, there's the visuals, there's the
yeah,
crowd, there's the shared pride.
moment.
There
Mhm.
are all of these, these common shared isolated experiences that create an immersion that
Yeah,
move people from one experience to another, that creates meaning, creates a memory that we consolidate overnight and that we hold on dear. And then that, when you look at brand loyalty, there are a lot of brands that are looking to be a love mark. I'm not sure if you're familiar with what a love mark is, but it was coined by Saatchi and Saatchi, I think in the 80s, a long time, a while ago. Anyway,
mhm.
I'm a very
Just a blip ago,
fond
Gretchen. I don't know what you're talking
I'm
about.
fond of the 80s. I'm fond of the 80s as a kid from the 80s, but
And leg
uh,
warmers are back. Come on.
I mean, maniac. Yeah, it's so great. But the and of course we get to have that shared a hilariousness that you knew what I did right then and there when I said maniac, right?
Yeah.
That
Yes.
was a flash dance moment, that we had a shared isolated experience. But in many ways, because we had less um entertainment at the time,
Mhm.
a whole bunch of us had that experience, and it was
Yes.
immersive. The style, the music, the dance, the leg warmers, the off the shoulder, that was an immersive experience from the movie makers that made that.
That's right.
And we're trying to capture that when we work with our customers,
Mhm.
whether it's creating really meaningful leadership experiences, or whatever, if you happen to be in the hospitality industry. I
Sure.
can imagine that
Yes.
people in the hospitality industry are wanting their guests to feel cared for,
Of
valued.
course.
Um, Everything from the second they book online with
Mhm.
their website to
Mhm.
when they walk in the room. And I have a dear friend who makes sense for hotels, so that you get that surround sound. You now have that olfactory connection with the way a hotel smells. It smells beautiful. It transports you.
Ports you
So
somewhere. Yeah.
yes, these wonderful, like, human experiences that we want to, I think, dial up right now, that we're in an age of AI and highly efficient. And that right now efficiency is sort of the fashion of the moment. But I think, and I know you and I both feel this way, that deeply human, curated, immersive experiences will be the most valuable coming.
It's the trend under the trend. I mean, and I would have to say efficiency is not just the fashion of the moment. I think we've had it in fashion for far too long. It's like ready to retire that hat, ready to retire those shoes. I understand the value of it. I understand the importance of it, but alone or used only to an extreme, it puts us at risk. So I think if we use those questions that was in that article, right, the around the immersive experience, where am I? Who am I with?
Mhm.
What can I do? What is happening? Am I making progress? Why does this even matter? These are great questions, not just for an immersive experience, but if we use it as a lens for AI adoption, for our customers, as we've been talking about, and even for your people, like engaging them in meetings, right? This
Mhm.
is another lens through which you could look at how we're balancing the use of AI with how we're engaging people and making meaning together. Otherwise, you're creating in your AI rollout something that's skewed towards optimization and utilization, and then more of a kind of spectacle rather than, and then
And
you're
then
calling it transformation.
Right. And what's the ultimate spectacle story is, the Wizard of Oz, that there was
Yes.
this omnipotent, amazing, powerful being, but you pull back the curtains and what's behind there?
Yeah.
If you can only answer a few of those questions, you're in an Oz moment.
Yeah.
This is, you have a spectacle, not an experience. And so I love the questions because they're very grounding, they're very simple, but they're
Mm-hmm.
also incredibly meaningful. What
Yeah.
does the leader do with those questions if they see they only have a few of them? Leanne, what's next?
So then how can we, if you can only answer two of those out of six, then you have more of a spectacle versus an experience. And now you can invite kind of human and AI collaboration together, that co-creation where we really anchor into how can we intentionally design not just a digital front door on the app, which is where a lot of organizations are going to, right? How do we create the digital front door on the large language models? Really cool. It's going to funnel people to you. You're going to have maybe an experience like you did, Gretchen, with purchasing the computer, but simultaneously, it's an and both. How do we also design a more comprehensive customer journey? You could do this with employees where there's AI used for discovery, speed, and optimization, and human experience for meaning creation or a shared moment, right? And so that might be very creative. It might be event based. But we believe, I know you and I believe this, Gretchen, that the trend under the trend is the faster things get more automated and driven towards efficiency, the more that those human immersive moments are going to matter. So you, as a leader,
100%.
can take advantage of that because your competitors might be so caught up scaling for efficiency that they're not really slowing down to design these immersive experiences in.
It made me think, and I'm forgetting the name of the bank, but there is a bank right now doing some advertising that are saying we're actually opening up branches.
Uh-huh.
We are here for you with humans.
Right.
So that to me is an early adopter saying they see the trend under the trend, which is humans really like other humans. They like to be
Actually, yeah.
efficient. And
Mm-hmm.
I think we can have both. We can have someone say, let me help you with that decision. Knowing the right computer isn't going to make or break your cognitive, load, but it might make your day better if I take that decision off your plate.
But it's going to require courage
Yes.
because that in bank is courageously maybe an early adopter, maybe actually paving the way. But there's a lot of CFOs, CIOs, CEOs, boards that are optimizing for utilization, check the box, and efficiency as
Yes.
a
And some
measure of impact.
there will be a request to those leaders for FTEs. They will
Hmm.
say, okay, you have this, $30 million tech stack. Now I would like the exchange. How are we going to save? So you are 100% right that it will take some courage to keep things as human as possible, keep that human touch, and be able to give the immersive experience that we all crave. We crave connection. Humans crave connection. Humans need connection. It is part of our need, our deep human need is to be connected to each other. So I think that one of the leaders' moves, the courageous moves, is to retain as much of that as possible, especially if you are in an industry where these types of experiences make a difference to your bottom line. I highly encourage you to hold on to that tightly and defend that in this age of efficiency.
Absolutely. And that's part of the leadership readiness that's going to be necessary as every organization moves forward with AI. There's going to be great excitement. The Prime Day is just one example. There's going to be other green scorecards around some other use of AI that could have us very much skewed towards the efficiency. And again, we're not knocking that. There's a place for that. And how do we develop not only that focus on the human immersive experience, but our own leadership capabilities so we actually know how to perceive, how to balance the two. And that's really what we take a stand for. And that's something to begin reflecting on. How ready is your organization and your leadership to be able to make those calls? And we invite people to kind of reflect on that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Leanne.
We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for spending this time with us. If something landed, sit with it. That pause is actually where the real work happens. And if you're navigating this shift at your organization and you'd like to bring this conversation inside your walls, go ahead and find us at deeplyhumanleading.com. If today's episode landed with you, share it with somebody that you think could really use it. The ripple starts there. Until next time, stay curious and stay human.